Hello. Welcome to my channel. My name is Linda and I love all things stationery. So I'm going to jump right in and show you my Camel Traveler's Notebook that I won as a giveaway, and I set it up as a journal with the insert that it came with, and started journaling in it. And it's sort of like a collage slash just writing journal insert that documents my creative work, and sort of like my reflections, feelings, and like what I can take away from looking at my own work. And I basically wanted to do this because I do feel like I'm in sort of like a creative rut at times, and it just occurred to me that I need to look back and be able to look at what I've done before and actually take away some learnings from it, rather than always only looking forward and being like, okay, what can I make next? What can I design next? What can I, draw next, and create? I need to be able also to look back to see what I have done and be able to draw some kind of useful information from that that will help me decide what it is I want to create when looking forward. So what I decided to do was actually go back and print out a bunch of stuff that I've created and add it into this insert while I'm journaling my thoughts and feelings and reflecting on the work that I'm actually pasting in. So this particular insert is a standard size, super lightweight paper insert, so it's very see-through, and it's definitely been sort of interesting journaling in this because obviously there's going to be ghosting, because it's almost like vellum, like almost onion skin. It's like onion skin paper, I think sometimes it's called. There's a journal that's called that. But it's almost like vellum paper where you can sort of like frosty see through it kind of thing. So I don't know if when people use this insert, they only use one side, but I have tried to just like ignore that fact and do whatever I wanted. So I'm collaging little bits, I'm writing directly, and just sticking in different printables and things from my prior years of work. And these date back. I'm going back like, I don't know, 10 years maybe. But just like highlights here and there, as I'm going through basically like my digital files. And so what I wanted to share in today's video is basically a bunch of prep that I'm going to do in this insert. I would like to share like journal with me's, but I found that it's not something that I can easily do always like at my desk under, where the camera is mounted. What I realized was I can really maximize a lot of my time, like have more time to journal, if I have pre-prepared pages and I am actually taking my TN with me around the house, or like leave it downstairs on the kitchen table or something, because I will definitely have more moments where I can stop and actually write a little bit. I have 3 kids, and the age range is from like 10 to 1.5. So there's like a big range, and so it's always like someone needs you. It's just very hard to have completely alone time, and like when there's like no noise and all that kind of stuff. So my desk is upstairs, like in the corner of the house, whereas we probably spend the most of our time like downstairs in like the living room area around the kitchen, which is why I realized that I just need to prep pages. And obviously I do think about what I'm going to journal, so there is like somewhat of an order of what I'm prepping or what I'm printing out as I look through my digital creative digital files, and I'm sticking them in, but I'm going to have like pre-prepped pages or like pre-decorated pages sort of, and then I'm able to journal when I'm downstairs and have like that 5 minutes, that 10 minutes, like whatever, in between wait times, or when like the kids are just happy playing there, but I can't actually like leave them all alone and like go elsewhere. So I'm trying that out now. So I printed out a bunch of stuff, like sort of like a set of printables as I'm going through all of my digital creative files. Thankfully, I do have everything stored digitally, more or less like in chronological order, because I often design and release things like on a monthly basis. So I'm just going back into the years. And obviously, it's not from like the beginning, like I don't even know what is the beginning. But I basically started when I used to be on Patreon, but now I'm on Ko-fi. And I basically went back to that beginning and started looking at the things that I released, the things that I posted, and went from there in chronological order. So if you check my videos, there's actually a playlist for all of these journal videos regarding this specific TN and insert, because I started it, like I said, I got it from a giveaway from Dabbling in Journals, and so I wanted to dedicate this to an important like topic in journaling for me. So you can go check out the playlist and watch like the setup of this whole TN, and then an episode of me like doing the whole journal with me. But now I'm just showing sort of like pre-decoration, because the journaling itself I'm going to be doing in little bits here and there when I can, in the bustle of like everyday life. And I think that that will work a lot better so that I could get more of this like done. And I already like flipped through the beginning pages, but you will see if you watch the previous videos and the video here, I already did a bunch of more pages from the last time that I shared this insert, and now I'm adding even more like pre-decorated pages so I can keep journaling. So I will definitely come back and check in every once in a while and show you the completed pages, and just talk a little bit more about how it's going in terms of journaling, like in all of these in between times and waiting times, and if that works out. But I definitely think for busy moms, for anyone who has like just a busy life and you're trying to find more time, so to speak, I think that we have a lot of like in between waiting times that we don't know how to utilize. So we're usually like scrolling on social media or whatever, where if you had like a little kit set up that is with you or portable or in a very accessible part of your house or whatever, then you will be able to get more done. And that is what I'm trying to do, like sort of like set myself up for success. So basically, this particular, like it lends itself very well to this particular journaling effort, because I'm literally just using one pen and journaling, and that's it. So if I pre-decorate my pages, it's perfect. I can just leave this open on the kitchen table and like journal when I can, kind of thing. So you can see here I am pasting in a bunch of stuff, and again, this super lightweight insert, which is like a special insert that they had released. I think it's hard to find now because once they finish, like they're not re-releasing it. The regular insert that they have is called lightweight paper insert, so it's not as thin as this one, I guess. This one is like super lightweight, so it is very like see-through. And like I said, in some ways it's sort of cool, but I don't know if I'm actually like utilizing the effect properly. Because I use a lot of printables, of course, like one side has a design of what I'm printing out, but the other side is just white. So like putting it on one of these pages that you can see the other side, like ghosting through, it's not very interesting. I realize that this insert would probably be better if you're putting in elements maybe that look cool from the front and the back. Like for example, if you're collecting nature or something, like a leaf, a flower, if you put it in, because the backside obviously is still color, like it still looks cool. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense. But I've just been thinking about that on how I can like utilize this insert to its max, but I don't know if I'm doing that really. I'm just letting myself like whatever. So I mostly use like a lot of craft paper, and these are just like scrap pieces of craft paper that I have from a different project that is no longer in use. So I have like a bunch of these that, and you can see they have like punched holes and things like that because it's from a different setup. But I am using it sort of like a background paper, and then I'm printing out the related creative work that I want to reflect on and pasting that in. So I think I'm mostly going to like collage some stuff in on the left hand side and maybe journal on the right hand side and keep it consistent like that. But in this particular spread, I have two different sets of illustrations, so I'm just going to paste them in on the top part and journal on the bottom part that's left, just because it happens to fit that way. And the standard TN size actually works very well for like European sized paper that we use here. It's A4 sized paper. If you print 4 images on an A4 sized paper, and then, after you cut it out and trim it and stuff, it pretty much like perfectly, like proportionally, nicely fits into a standard TN. So I think that it is like a standard that just works really well. So I definitely like the sizing for this particular themed like journal that I'm doing. I obviously use journals in all different kinds of sizes. It just really depends like what I'm doing at the moment. But yeah, this one works really well, and I do like it. I'm glad I started to do this. And in reflecting on my own creative work, I think that it's very helpful to think back on the things that you have done, which ones you liked and why, and which ones you don't like or you're not proud of for whatever reason, and like why that is. When, like, we all have preferences, obviously, which is fine. We are free to do what we like, right? But it's interesting to ask yourself that question of why, because oftentimes the reason will really help to inform your future work too. Like, is it the subject matter? Is it the style? Is it the colors? Like, there's something about it that attracts you or does not attract you, right? So I definitely have been finding it helpful as well. And from like a mental health, like mindset standpoint, it has definitely been a good thing to like actually look back on my old work and realize that have created a lot of stuff. It's not like I've done nothing. I've been a freelance graphic designer all of these years, so like part-time working and also raising my kids. Basically that is like my main job, to make sure everyone is okay and like the household and everything. So I'm doing a lot of things and, on the side trying to do some kind of creative side hustle. And of course, so many years have passed. My son is 10 years old, so it's like I've been, trying for 10 years, but not, at the ultimate spot that I want to be. My creative work is not what is earning me money. It's not a career, quote unquote. It is definitely a side hustle, but I would like it to be a career. And, there are many times where it's very disheartening because it's like, I've been doing this for so many years and it's just not clicking. So maybe, it's just not meant to be. It is very easy to get discouraged, no doubt, right? But I also have to realize that I am not doing this full time. It's not like someone who quits their job and then they're like, okay, I'm going to try doing this other job. If you have all these other things that you're doing, obviously your efforts are split. And it's not, I don't know if this makes sense, but like when your efforts are split, it is not like equal in terms of like, let's say you have 2 day jobs or you have 2 jobs and it's like 50-50 kind of thing. And you would think if you are doing something like 50% this effort and 50%, second effort, if they're supposed to take, 3 years, then if you're doing both, then okay, it's going to take you 6 years, right? Because 50%, right? Double the time. Unfortunately, that is not the case. And that's just the way life is, because there is something about momentum, timing, and just all kinds of things. Like, if you're able to focus on one thing, like you probably would be able to like do more, you know what I mean? And work on your own momentum and things like that. than when you're spread thin, or when you only have like 30 minutes a day to deal with something. You get stopped, you know what I mean, in your flow and things like that. And, it's sort of sad, but at the same time, like, that is life in this season. Now I am raising 3 kids. And granted, there are people out there who have lots of kids and are doing other things too, but everyone's situation is different. So I often need to remind myself all the time about that, that, situations are different, our journeys are different. Progress is not always going at the same rate, like, all the time. Like, sometimes you do a big jump, sometimes you slip backwards, sometimes, you take some steps forward. Like, it's just like this whole journey. And looking back at my work, I do realize, like, okay, I have gone a long way from, like, the beginnings. But sometimes when you're in the middle of it all, you can't see that. You don't have that perspective, which is another reason why it's good to document your work, document your successes as well as your failures, so that you can learn from them and really take stock of your own work and use it as more data information to inform your decisions moving forward. So that's what all of this, insert is about, and the journaling really is about. And I think half of it is very much like a mental health, like, helper, like, it just helps. And I definitely feel better, like, about all of my work and everything after starting doing this specific insert and journaling about my work. And maybe it's because I'm reviewing my work in the past and coming upon things that I really, really like, and I'm like, oh, I made that, you know what I mean, like, I created that. And of course, there's still so much to learn. I definitely have identified, like, so many weaknesses and so many things that I need to work on, things that I am afraid to do that obviously say something, right? Like, when you're really afraid to do something, like, what does that mean? What are you afraid of? Why? What is blocking you? So it really helps to journal about all these things, and obviously to use that information to help in your planning when you are figuring out what you want to do moving forward. So that is what this whole camel TN and insert is all about. And you can see I have printed out a lot of different surface pattern designs, illustrations, and tidbits, that I've created, and I'm pasting them in. And I think I'm pretty much going to settle on, like, mostly collaging things, like, on the left hand side, and then writing on the right hand side, just because I'm right-handed and it's, like, pretty easy to write on the right hand side of the page. Or I can do half, like the upper half and right on the bottom half. So I hope that this system will work out. And one thing I have noticed that could be sort of annoying, like, it's semi-annoying, but I sort of take note of it and, like, try to compensate. But when you pre-decorate or paste things in, basically, into your notebook or planner or journal, whatever you're using, on all different types of pages, when you go in to write, obviously, there's stuff on all the pages, so you're gonna hit upon that bump. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, when you're writing on the back of a certain page and then there's stuff under, and so you're like, it's not like that perfectly flat surface of, like, brand new papers with nothing on it. And I do use a pencil board. I have the Traveler's Notebook, the coffee standard size pencil board that I use, because these papers are completely blank, and I honestly don't have good penmanship, and I would, I'm still writing, like, sort of crooked, but using the guide, it does help me to write, like, relatively straight, so that it's not, like, a complete mess. But yeah, I do use the pencil board, but even if I put the pencil board down on the right hand side page, obviously I have stuff collaged, like, on the, on the other side, on the next, page, because I'm pasting mostly stuff on that left hand side. So you get that, like, bumpiness when you're writing. So I don't know if that's because maybe this paper is so thin, and so you can, like, feel the bumps and all that kind of stuff a lot more. So yeah, I use the pencil board, and I'm using the Uniball gel pen in black ink. Um, the what is it called? Uniball 1P, like the little cute one that everybody has. It is very cute. It's like chunky, and I have pretty small hands, so it works out fine. But yeah, I have it all these pre-decorated pages, and now I am ready to go for quite a bit of time to fill up all those pages. So I'm just gonna leave this in my kitchen area because that's basically where we spend most of our time, and I'll be able to journal a lot more in that situation. So next time around, I will share when the pages are done and I do a next set of decorating. So if you love digital printables, by the way, I am a designer of digital printables and I'm on Ko-fi. You can join as a member and get a monthly download of digital printables and also monthly journaling videos for the paper crafting tier. I also have lots of freebies posted in the Ko-fi shop, so you can definitely go there and support my design work. Otherwise, I also blog on tortagialla.com. I've had that site for many, many years, and it's just posted with all totally free printables. You can download anything, can use it all for your personal use. I'm happy to share. So thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it, and until next time, bye.